Go and try your luck. Test me in again, we let it rain. Please don't start us up. Got that black and white, that yin and yang. Mr. Officer, please don't search us, we don't got a thing. Tell her park it up, then that be poking out them jeans. I've been sparking up, like the fireworks, I keep the flame. Heard you parking up, this the wrong tree, I got the strings. Yeah, I'm charging up, they can't keep up, got them looking drained. Now they walking up, trying to put the face to the name. Pull up.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, it is that time of the week that GOW presents to you the over-under. As always, yours truly, the franchise, aka the showstopper, better known as the GOW's resident tribal chief. And with me, as always, I got my tag team partner, my brother, my family. He is the flash in the room, Mr. 1, 2, 3. Pin that ass down, K Breezy, aka EC's resident Isaac Hayes, King 2 Cole. Brody, what's good?
Man, you know what it is, man. It's that Thursday night, man. You know we got to do what we do, man. Over under, man. We got to talk some talk, man, with the people, man. And I know we gonna shake some feathers tonight, man.
I mean, absolutely, man. I mean, tonight we got Paul London and Brian Kendrick. We got the New Day. We got 29 million star FTR, and of course, the twins, the Booker T Bros, man. So, you know, I'm definitely looking forward to talking about tonight, man. But before we get into it tonight, bro, how you feeling?
Man, I'm good, man. You know how it is, man. You know, it's a long day, but the live is on, man. The red light is on, so you know it's time to talk to the people, man. Let's do what we do.
All right. Well, with that being said, man, let's dive right into it, man. We're gonna throw a softball out here. What we doing? All right, man. My first pick, Paul London and Brian Kendrick, man. Now, with you and I, what we decided to do is we decided to pick a current team, and then we decided to pick a team, man, a little blast from the past. And this blast from the past for me, I have a few different ways I feel about this team. I'm not going to say they are overrated or underrated. I feel like at the time they were exactly where they needed to be. They had a style, especially amongst tag teams, where in that period of WWE, you didn't really see that much of a team like them. You know, high flying, super high pace, could be technical when they needed to be. My downfall with them is they really didn't have much of a character. You know, there's really no character building with them. It was really, you know, just a bunch of hot spots, all moves, and that was it. And to me, you know, that was a detriment. Now they did have some great matches and great rivalries, especially when you go back with the Mexicools, you go back with Deuce and Domino, you go back with Eminem. At one point, I believe they held the tag team titles. They actually held it twice, but their longest reign came in at over a year. 373 days, and then some unfortunate circumstances, man, got Brian Kendrick and Paul London kicked out, but especially Paul London. Paul London, to me, man, his moveset was crazy. Brian Kendrick, man, he had a pretty extensive career, not only in WWE, but pro wrestling as a whole. But now I say all that to say this. I feel like they could have been bigger than they were. But I feel like their careers were hindered, man, because all they could do was flip around in the ring. There was really no depth to them. But I feel like at the time for what they were and who they were, I feel like, man, they were one of the best tag teams in that specific era. Now, they didn't last long. I think they were only together about 3 years. But when you look at, you know, okay, if I had to put a tag team on the card and you wanted to have a good match or an exciting match, you put these two guys out there. Now, were there other tag teams that were leaps and bounds better than them? Of course they were. But again, I'm talking about for their style, for that era. I mean, it really wasn't much they could do. I mean, you know, you still kind of had the cruiserweights being the thing back then. But other than that, man, outside of like Rey Mysterio and the Select Few, guys this size weren't really doing much of anything. If you weren't a comedy act or just in a random tag team, you really wasn't doing much. So for what they were, you know, I definitely say in the ring, good. Character-wise, not so much, which is why I say, man, they cool where they at. But I do feel like the one thing that kind of stopping them from being any better than what they were, man, just a lack of personality. You're on mute, bro. I think. Hold on. Uh-oh. I can't hear you.
Oh, my bad. you're not wrong about what you're not wrong about what you were saying, but I, I feel like for that time of who was around, yeah, they were one of the exciting teams, but they were, like you say, they were more of a flip to do team. They, there really wasn't too much. I mean, they weren't bad as far as in ring. Um, they were overrated. Uh, like they were an exciting team because of the spots, because of the high flying, because of the stuff that they were willing to do.
Yeah.
But um, they were really no real threat to anybody. So it's like man, it's like they're one of those teams where it's like they were good, but yeah, they weren't nobody. They weren't really everlasting to me.
Oh, and
I
that's the thing.
remember, like I
That's why.
remember them, but it wasn't like, man, when I think of tag team, they probably won't be in my top 20. That's
Exactly. And me neither. But that's why I said, they lack depth because outside of the spots, you really didn't have much in them, because character wise, nobody really had a character you could really get behind. Only you can get behind was the fact they could do some cool shit. But other than that, I would say their probably most noticeable match was the match where I believe it was them, the Hardys, Eminem, and I feel like I may be missing one more scene where Joey Mercury got his nose broke.
Oh, that was the Hardy Boys.
Was it the Hardy Boys? Just them three?
It was the Hardy Boys. It was the Hardys. You had the world's greatest tag team, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas.
Yeah.
I want to say around that time you also had Legacy, or they were starting to form. It really wasn't a lot of tag teams because a lot of those guys were singles guys that were becoming tag teams too. The RVD and Kane, and then the Hurricane and Kane, and stuff like that, man. So you had a lot of those teams, but if I gotta think about because when I think about some of the teams that were around the Los Guerreros, it's like yeah, Brian Kendrick and Paul London are definitely they're not at the top of that list for me.
All right, let's see who we bringing up next. Oh, all right. We got your guys, man. We got 7-star FTR, man. Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, bro. These yo guys. I'm gonna let you go first, and I'm gonna follow up.
All right, man. Clive, what it do, man? What it do? Earl, you should know this team. All right, man. Well, see, you got my boys right there. They're already holding the AEW tag team titles, even though they're not the AEW current tag team champions. FTR, man, is a throwback to the old school in today's wrestling. When you look at them, they're not the biggest, they're not the most flashiest, but they are everything that you want out of a really, really good tag team. As heels or babyface, you love these guys when they get in the ring because they're there to put a hurting to what whoever is in that ring with them. They're gonna out wrestle them. They're gonna outlast them. They're gonna outbleed them. They're gonna out whatever it is that you want to do. Dax and Cash, man, have proven not only in just the New Japan, but in the Ring of Honor, not only in TNA, not only in AEW, but they've also proven it in WWE. Now, when you think of their WWE run, I remember their NXT run. And I remember all the teams that they were going up against then and the matches that they were putting on then. And this is why people were calling them at the time. It was 5-star FTR. Then it became 6-star. Then it just seemed like every year they just add a star to this team because that's just what they are. I get what you're saying, Earl. They are quintessentially, like I say, they're a throwback to what old school wrestling was. When you think of teams like the Andersons, and when you think of teams like Clive says, the APA, when you think of those type of tag teams that worked well together, but they were brutal though. You know, they man, like they work you. You know, they weren't all about the flash. You know, when you think of some teams like the Hollywood Blondes and how they work, when you think of teams like the Hart Foundation, when you think of teams like uh, who else I want to say? The Dudley Boys. When you think of a team like the Dudley Boys, even though you can say Edgy Christian and you can say the Hardy Boys, but the Dudley Boys, just that brawl out style. You know, the FTR can bring that, but they can also bring that in ring technician. They can actually out wrestle anybody. So when I look at FTR, when I see them, yeah, they're like I said, they're not the biggest, but those two guys, man, hey, when they say they're gonna do something, they're gonna do it. And you gonna enjoy the match. Like you're going to enjoy the match. Even if you like them or don't like the team that they're going up against, you're gonna enjoy the match. They really do bring out the best in any tag team that they wrestle. Like they demand it. Like and that's another thing, man. They demand that you present yourself as a tag team. Or they gonna whoop the shit out of you. It's almost just like I don't know. It's just something about the way they carry themselves, man. And when I see them, when I look at them, when I see they're on the card, I'm like, ooh, who they going against? You know, it really don't matter. It should be a really good match. Unless it's somebody trash and it's somebody they're gonna run through. But if it's a solid team that they're going up against, if it's the Young Bucks or whoever, they're going up against them, you're gonna get a solid match out of them. I mean, even when they go up against guys like Juice Robinson and Jay White, or if they go up against Ricky Starks and Big Bill, or they go up against the Acclaim, or they go up against, at the time it was Swerve and Keith Lee, or the Young Bucks, whoever it is they go up against, the Lucha Bros, whoever it is they go up against, they have really, really great tag teams. So I'm gonna say that they are definitely underappreciated, but I think because of some of that kind of old school way, that they are seen a bit overrated to some people. Like, there's nothing really special about them. Like they just basic tag team wrestlers. But that's the thing though. If you really like tag team wrestling, that you appreciate that aspect. So it's like, yeah, like that. I really think that they're under, they're not underrated. They're underappreciated because they're not overrated as far as talent and what they do in the ring. They're not of that, but I think just the way their style and just how kind of bland they are sometimes, but yet, man, when they on the card, you finna get a fire tag team match. You are. So that's how I feel about FTR.
Okay, so good points. I agree and disagree, but for almost the same exact reasons you said what you said. Now I'm gonna go back to their NXT days. And to go back to that old school style, they say they fancy themselves after the Hearts, like you said, after Arn Anderson and all them, after the Four Horsemen, all the old school guys, and you can see it, everything from the music to the style to the body type, to present everything, right? Their motto was no flips, just fist. And that was true because, especially even the NXT, when they were getting really indie heavy, right? Everybody was doing flips and all this. And FTR was that group that stood out because they didn't do all that. When you look at some of our current favorite groups, right? When you look at a team like, let's say, Imperium, they don't do a lot of flips, ground and pound, the Brawling Brutes, same thing, ground and pound, and I feel like when you look at a team like FTR, at first, initially, because yes, we live in such a fast-paced now society. At first, it could be a little off-putting because it's like, yo, why are they so boring? But then again, man, it's about telling a story because they don't do all the flips and everything like that. Now you got to use ring psychology. Now you got to sell. Now you got to know your timing. Now everybody's paying so much more attention because you don't have the guys and the mask of all this other cool shit. But that's what makes you appreciate it. Because I'm not going to lie. At first, I wasn't the big FTR fan for that same reason. Now, I will say WWE, to me, kind of tainted their image on the way out the door, having them do all that hokey shit. So, yeah, when they first came to AEW, it was kind of like, eh. And I feel like when they first came to AEW, they were very underappreciated. But at the same time, as somebody who wasn't always a fan necessarily, I can understand why. I do feel like now that they've made it very clear that they got more days behind them in front of them, and this is their last full-time run, I do think now the fans are actually starting to appreciate it more now because FTR is such a real talent. Like you said, the way they carry themselves, bro, they can pretty much be on the card with damn near anybody, and it's gonna be a banger. You know how mad we were when they didn't get those title opportunities at first? It was like, yo, what the hell? And then now Tony kind of, when he ran out of things to do with AEW, what do you do? Send their ass to AAA. So I do feel like now, even MJF, when you talk about
they came back with 2 more titles. They left and came back with 2 more titles.
Like 2 more titles. Bet. So I do feel like now they're not necessarily underrated, but I do feel like for the longest time up until recently, super underappreciated.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, and Clive is not wrong. They are appreciated, and so maybe I'll change it to they're right where they need to be. I'll put them there instead of just putting them because they are because they are appreciated.
But they did have to earn their respect though. I
mean, but they had to earn it, but they've had it for such a long time. Like I feel like they had it in NXT, and when they got to the main roster, people wanted to see them go up against the Usos and the New Day and all, you know what I'm saying, and have those matches, but the same type of matches we were seeing them having. Remember, that was the problem with watching people come up from NXT to the to the main roster. They weren't always being put, to look legit like some guys and girls were. So when we got them, we got that, like you say, that hokey ass back shaving BS with the Usos, which was more soft America. And it's funny, man, and it's not funny, but it just sucks because we know these teams could have really good matches. Like the Usos are like, man, that would be such a banger of a match. And
now,
but even for then, that would have been a banger match because the Usos was on their game, FTR was on their game. It would have been good. You just could have had a better story going into it.
Can you imagine that match back then at a takeover? Like just how crazy takeovers was back then.
Yeah. What's up, Lonnie? What's going on, bro? But I again, like they did win the Raw tag team titles. They did win the SmackDown tag team. They did win the NXT, so they're triple crown, tag team in WWE. They've won titles in Ring of Honor. They've won them in Impact. They've won them in New Japan. They've won them in AAA. They've won them across the world, man, and they won them in AEW. They are as good as they are. It is what it is. But yeah, FTR, man, definitely one of the top teams, and if this is one of their last, full-time runs as a tag team, hey, I'm with it. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Let me see. The Crypto says, "What about Joe? Shut up." All right, man.
The Beverly Brothers. Lonnie says, doing all right, man. It's good to see you guys, man. We appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you, man. All right, my brother. It's all on you, man. Do what you do.
Yes, sir. Hey, look, man, in this group right here, we got 2 former world champions. We got Big E, we got Kofi, but of course, we can't forget that man that holds the pieces together, the glue man, Xavier Woods. Now, I'm kind of split on this one. I'm gonna start by saying
I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah. I feel like they're not overrated at all. No, they're going to go down as one of the greatest tag teams in history. But I will say this: I feel like there's 2 eras of the New Day. I feel like up until Big E got hurt, I feel like in every match, in every situation, they felt like a legitimate threat. I feel like, no matter what, you can always depend on 2 teams, if anybody. That was the New Day and the Usos. And then you can interchange, the Viking Raiders at one point. But if you go talk about the Shield originally, if you go talk about the Wyatt family, but I'm talking about just from then to up recently, I feel like, man, the New Day have been a mainstay, but I feel like they kind of lost their identity. First, they lost their identity when Big E got traded to Raw. I feel like that really, really kind of like.
I don't think they knew what they at that point, man. You had no other team other than them and the Usos, and you can only do them and the Usos so much before it was almost kind of like the John Cena Randy Orton effect, where we were for that 1 year we got so much of John Cena Randy Orton. It was like, okay, damn, is there no one else? Is no one else trying to go after this championship? Like, I got it, I understood it. It was a great rivalry, but at the same time, it's like, Jesus, why is it going on this long? This thing should have been ended.
Right, but I feel like even then though, I feel like the Usos, they never they never lost their identity. You get what I'm saying? I feel like, especially when it came down to just Woods and Kofi teaming, I feel like once Big E left, I feel like the spirit of the New Day, it's kind of like, look at Hit Row, okay? I use them as a perfect example. One person made the entire vibe of that group. When they came back without Swerve Strickland at the time, you really like Hit Row, bro. It just felt like a knockoff. And I love Kofi. Kofi, world champion, single success. Big E, world champion, single success. Woods, he ain't really did shit outside of what he did with the New Day. But even then, all of his main success came when he was in the group with Big E. What has Woods done since? And so I feel like prior to Big E being injured, bro, hey, regardless of what you want to say, they going down Hall of Famers as a trio. Big E and Kofi, maybe 2-time Hall of Famers, singles and trio. I get that. But I feel like right now, and I'm not taking anything away from the New Day. I feel like right now they're being used. It's kind of just like the vets that can put on serviceable matches. But I don't think right now you look at the New Day, be like, yeah, man, they're going to win the ships again. Or, yeah, man, like, I feel like I can care less if I see Woods and Kofi on the card as opposed to with FTR. If I see FTR on the card, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, let's go. If I see Woods and Kofi now, it's kind of like, okay, well, who they fighting? Maybe. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I say I kind of feel like it's a half and half because I respect what they did. I feel like they deserve every accolade and every positive mention they get. I get that, especially for what they did. They were about to get fired on the chopping block and became literally one of the greatest tag teams and trios in the history. I get that. But if I'm being honest, present day, I feel like maybe they are a little underappreciated. But I also feel like, man, they aren't up to the level they were when they were in full form. And I'm not saying that's their fault, but I do feel like right now people don't have that same perception of the New Day as they once did.
Wow. I'm totally against everything you just said.
Hey, feel free. Hey, please feel free.
And the way that you and what I mean by that is the way because to me I'm hearing that and it seems like you're judging them based on what they've been doing lately. And I don't think that should matter because they have enough body of work to where the whole thing with Big E being drafted away to the show shouldn't change anything. That just shouldn't change no opinion of the New Day once they have formed as the New Day. Yeah, we look at what they do as individuals. And I don't want to fault Xavier for that too, because that's not by his design.
Well,
if there was room for, if there was some purpose for him to win a singles title, then that's totally, and he never does it. That's totally different. But he never was really put in that light. Like every now and then they did it just because they needed a body, but it was never like, Woods, yo, you about to get a U.S. championship run. We've been saying, yo, give our boy a U.S. title run. Like there was a moment where you could have did it because you didn't really have too many. You didn't really have nobody solid for the U.S. championship. And with him being as popular as he was, we all felt, yo, he would be the perfect person to be a U.S. champion because the dude gonna come on the microphone and just light it up.
Right.
That's him. But I don't feel like that should fault the group. This is tag team. Yeah, we can acknowledge what they do as singles, but we're gonna look at them as a tag team. And as a tag team, they pay homage to what the Von Erichs were. They pay homage to what that trio dynamic was. So not only did they pay homage to it, man, but they made it their own thing in their own way. And it was the hottest act. Even some could say, damn, they became hotter than John Cena. At one point, they became hotter and while John was still there, tough, doing things. So they were hated, but you couldn't hate on the way that they work because they worked so damn well together. That's the only reason why I say I disagree with what you're saying, because I feel like it sounds like you were judging them more on individually and what they doing lately. Nah, man, let's look at their body of work. Their body of work puts them at a point where even FTR is not the champions right now, but they've lost. But they've been having some relatively matches. But I look at the structure of AEW differently than I do WWE. So I can't say that New Day ain't trying. No, they had their moment, but of course the focus ain't on tag team like it is in AEW. So there are some things I can't necessarily say they're at fault for or blame them for not having the success of today.
Yeah, and my thing is, I hear you 100%. And my thing was, I wasn't discrediting New Day by any, which is why I put that disclaimer out there.
Them, but like not like just throwing in the like just kind of just taking away some of their not discrediting, but it's like not giving them as much because you were looking at the individual stuff where it's like I'm thinking more of just the overall them three and how they work, regardless of who switches out as a team. If it's Kofi or Big E or Kofi and Woods or Woods and Big E or whatever the combination is, they have put on and done the damn thing. They have come out and entertained us. They've talked so much shit and gotten away with so much toe tapping, line tapping that boy, they should have been. It's like the New Day, boy, they were, and I ain't gonna lie, man, like when they went to the whole unicorn thing, I didn't really like that. It kind of took me off a little bit, but I didn't discourage it from what they were doing outside of that. But as long as they were still being those dudes, and once the Bootio thing kind of came, and just seeing the wildness and the silliness of them, just their overall, man, they're entertaining. They're they can all get on the microphone and just make a moment out of nothing. So when I think of them, when I look at the New Day, when we're gonna look at a tag team overall, what did they provide? Man, they provided great entertainment. They provided great matches. They provided great moments. Dude, they're one of the greatest tag teams because they have the most championships. They had the longest title reign until the Usos just took it out. So the New Day as a whole are first ballot automatic.
Easy.
That right there, I think, doesn't put them as underappreciated. And they're damn sure not overrated. They're perfectly right where they're at. I mean, they had some silly shit that was silly, but that was more predicated to the PG style of WWE. They did the best of what they could with what they had, and they made it. They turned shit to gold, man. And you cannot deny their level of what they've done. If there was a fall off, you could say it's when they broke up Big E, but at that time, that wasn't so much as a fall off. Because what we were saying, we're ready to see Big E go for this singles run. We want to see Big E. And we all kind of knew in our back of our minds, like, yo, in order for that to happen, he may have to lead a group. They did what we thought we felt they had to do. It's not like Kofi and Woods didn't win a championship after that either. They won championships after that. So it's like, no, they to me, they stayed the course. Were they the most important or not? Whether or not, that's predicated on other tag teams that they were presenting them with. But when you needed somebody to hold the belts, they were holding the belts. And E was over there holding, doing his thing on Raw. So that's when I look at it, I don't look at it like a detriment to them. I look at it like, nah, man, that's what adds to the aura. That's what adds to everything that we've seen them do. Would we still like to see Woods get something? Sure. Most definitely, we want to see Woods get a singles title, man. Intercontinental United States, something. Champ, I'm gonna actually be honest with you. That they're gonna be one of my picks. But the New Day have definitely they are perfectly right where they're at, man. They are one of the best in the business. There is no underappreciated about them. People might underappreciate them now because there's no Big E, but they're also not really, the company's not really pushing the New Day where we want them to be. And of course, we know why, because they got the tag team titles on one team. So we're still wanting them to break stuff up. But yeah, man, no, that's where I just disagree with you about, because it's like, man, none of that should be a negative towards them. At least not in my mind. That's not a negative towards them, because again, you gotta look at what company they're wrestling for. Now, if they're doing this in AEW, bro, that's something different. That's different.
Right.
That's a whole nother animal right there, where I think FTR gets the advantage when you think of it like that.
That's true, and that's true. And like I said, man, that's why we got this discourse, to talk back and forth, and to get the different point of views. But yeah, like I say, man, New Day still my squad. But and my thing is, before we get to the last pick, and because I know you said, I'm judging it right now, and the reason I said I added, the fact that I feel like it was two parts is because wrestling is such a what have you done for me lately type business, because and that's why I said, perception, not necessarily importance and what they mean to the company, but just from a fan standpoint, I was looking like, okay, this is why I say they're not overrated, but this is why I can see why they may be underappreciated. Because, like you said, for the same reasons, they are working within the parameters of a single team holding all the championships. So they really can't go out here and probably have the matches maybe that they could be having if it was two separate titles, because the focus is really on two groups, Bloodline and Judgment Day.
Okay, no, and you're not wrong there. The only thing I would say is to have to reserve that judgment for any team, because to look at it as what you did lately.
Yeah.
For there's some teams, that might have had a great run at the end, and some that might not have. But it's like, do we want to discredit some of that towards them and what they did overall or what they provided? So like that's what it's like. I like, you're not wrong in what you're saying, but it's like I didn't like that direction. It's like that just didn't ride with me. But it's like we're gonna have to look at a lot of teams like that. It's like because we're gonna definitely bring up some more teams, and it's like they had there was a great moment for them, but then they kind of fumbled the ball at the mouth. So it's like, but we love them so much, but it's like but it happened. So it's like, hey man, I told you, man. I told you this thing was gonna be difficult, man. I told you, man.
Hey, look, man. When you got two strong-minded bulls, man, going at it, it's like, hey, look, that's why we do this.
It's John Cena and Hulk Hogan all over again. Okay, I'm telling you, man. I told you that's gonna be the breaker right there between everything that we talk about, man. That's gonna be that if not, it applies to the New Day a little bit. All right, okay. All right, man. Well, look here, we got everybody on. Clive, where you at, man? Clive, where you at? Clive, I want to make sure you were on the show, because man, bro, yesterday you were the star. So I wanted to make sure, man, we paid tribute to you and your contribution to the GOW. He said, my man says, I am here with my boy. We are about to talk about your boys, your favorite tag team of all time, the Booker T Bros, aka Harlem Heat. Man, we couldn't let that one go, man. We had to mess with you on that one, man. Man, ladies and gentlemen, Harlem Heat. Whew. Harlem Heat, man, is one of those tag teams that had some charisma. They definitely worked well in the ring. They were a tough team. Booker Titus, you stupid, will you? Man, Harlem Heat, man, has had some hell of a moments. They've had great battles and rivalries with teams like the Scott Hall and Nash, of course, the Steiner brothers, a whole bunch of teams that really in WCW. But they're 11-time tag team champions. They were overrated. Don't get me wrong. They were overrated. But they were overrated because they were one of a few great tag teams in WCW. I think that was the one thing that kind of hindered what they really could have been. It would have been
Right.
nice to see them, go up against a lot more competitive teams. I mean, you had the Four Horsemen, like I said, you had the Steiner brothers, you had the Dungeon, or not what was it? I can't remember some of the. I don't know why I can't remember some of these teams in WCW. I'm too old. But the Harlem Heat, man, they definitely had a nice run. They definitely had great moments. They had, they had some memorable, great title runs where they were beating up everybody, but they did kind of get stale during their time, which it's kind of like I say, it's kind of subjective because you don't want to discredit what they've done, but there was only so many teams they were going up against. They were just one of those few teams that happened to hold the titles, and they would hold them for a while until someone else was actually good enough to win them, and then we'll see what they do. But
Right.
I Booker T, we can look. We've already did Booker T. I believe we did. Did we already talk Booker T? Yeah, we already talked Booker T. Oh no, we didn't. Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We already talked Booker T. So I'm not gonna go too much over him. Stevie Ray, big dude, big guy. He was limited to his move set, but he was a better tag team partner than singles guy. I kind of looked at him like I looked at Anvil Neidhart. Dude was good. He can handle. He was a good worker in the ring, but outside of trying to do singles, you're a tag team guy. It was just that's just kind of how I saw him. But
Right.
Harlem Heat was definitely one of those teams. If you give them a team to go with, they can go like that, and that's why I say, in a way, they were underappreciated, but they were overrated. Because they were a really good team, and if they had a little bit more, I truly believe they could have proven how great of a team they really were.
So, I agree with everything you just said. I will, and I agree with Earl said too. I do agree, Earl. So I'm going to say this because I want to put a disclaimer out there. Obviously, there is a little bit of an age gap between you and I, so this is more of your era. So when I say what I'm about to say, I want to make sure I'm very transparent about it because I'm more so going off of secondhand, this is what I went through and studied selectively. Now you've actually got to see it in real time, but what I will say is,
and you're right, and Earl was right. Harlem Heat has had more success, but in the independent, in the old territory days, while it was still kind of territory before, everything started getting bought up. But they were one of those teams making a name for themselves. And he says, I can hear Vince's voice, two black guys, Harlem, let's do it. Ha ha. Yeah. Yeah.
And the crazy part was they wasn't from Harlem or New York at all.
Right, exactly. But they were a successful tag team. They were a team that came up. I just felt like if they had a little bit more in WCW to work with, then it would be a different story.
And then didn't Stevie Ray at one point go to like the 50th iteration of the NWO or some wild shit like that?
Yeah, but that's when they broke up, and Stevie Ray. That's when Booker T went on his singles run, and Stevie Ray. But that just go to show that Stevie was never that dude. Like he had this little feud with his brother, but then that was it. Like he didn't really do nothing after that. Which that's why I say it's like he really wasn't. He wasn't a singles guy. Like, and so I just think that. Yeah, as a tag team, they worked the characters, the gimmick, even though they were from Houston, but they talked like dudes from Harlem, and it was cool and it was accepted, and nobody.
Hey, don't you forget G.I. Bro.
Hey man, well no, we're gonna forget G.I. Bro. We definitely gonna forget G.I. Bro, and we can never forget his infamous moment with Hulk Hogan, the Hulk Hogan interview. So look, man, they embodied. Hey man, they represented. I ain't gonna lie, they represented. Yeah, you didn't really see too many teams like that being on that level, that high of a level, being respected and winning and being champions and being allowed to just be them. Yeah. And it's like, they're acting extra, but at the same time, it's like, dude, I don't really see no other team that look like them winning like that. Hey, yo, I gotta have it.
And that's why I agree too. Do I feel like from what I've seen, are they overrated? Sure. But again, they were something that was different that was being pushed at the time. You got
Yeah,
these two brothers, black Jack brothers, and at the time Booker T was a little
whooping
more
ass and talking shit.
yeah, and at the time, Booker T was a little more aerial, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
he'd give you a couple of moves off the top rope if he had to. But the focus to me, I feel like in the tag team was more on Stevie Ray. I feel like, Booker T, it wasn't until they broke up to where Booker
he
T
was
was
the
like, okay,
mouthpiece. Stevie Ray
yeah,
was
yeah.
he was
Booker
the
T had
muscle.
that.
So, but Booker
Yeah.
T was the mouthpiece. He was the one that
Yep.
and his
Hey,
so that's what
Booker
made it
T,
work.
he really played that role of the little brother. Like the little brother
Yeah,
always talking, and if you talk
yeah.
shit back to the little brother, then you got big bro. He ain't
Yeah,
with all the
man,
talk.
exactly. That's why I'm like, man,
Yeah.
if they'd have had more to work with, it'd have been something. But at the time, and then of course, again, Bischoff was taking over, so and we all know what happened after that. So it's like, again, they were kind of subject to what they could do,
Yeah.
but they had their success until a bigger story came in line, and then it was and then it was there you go, man. Clive, my guy, man. The Nasty Boys, man.
Oh, Brian Knobs. What's the other
The
guy?
Midnight Express. I remember the Midnight Express. Yeah, man. They was definitely the filthy animals. You stupid.
Ray. That's what Ray didn't have that mask on.
He got 3 count on there. I'm like, bro, 3 count? Really? Oh man. But
You wasn't
but
for the
again,
3 count, man? The Sugar Shane and the
I
Sugar
wasn't.
Babies?
Nah. You can give me the Steiners, the Nasties, the Outsiders, NWO, whoever you put in that group, the Midnight Express. You can give me quite a few of them teams, but you can keep some of the other ones. But again, their moment in time, it was kind of just, it was limited, but they made the most out of it. And they were one of the hotter teams and one of the most popular teams, outside of the Four Horsemen. Or you can't forget them because depending on who it was, if it was Dean, what was it, Michaels and Benoit, or if it was Luger and somebody, or or Flair or Arnie and Dean Malenko, and whoever, whenever, you have variations of it, but the Booker T Bros, aka Harlem Heat, as Clive says, they were overrated, but I think also underappreciated because they could have definitely gotten more. We wish they would have had a little bit more to work with.
You know who ain't underappreciated? You, man. I value you. I appreciate you. You are the diff.
Yeah, man, fresh you, man. I not the diff.
Hey. Here on the GOW, it is always we before me, and I owe you.
Man, y'all come get your boy, man. Oh man, every time Champ says, man, Harlem Heat was a solid team. Every time they had a championship match, they were always a chance they would win, and you would watch. Most definitely. Earl says he would take Crime Time over Harlem Heat. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. No, not me. Because Harlem Heat, again, Crime Time was good, but a lot of what they did, some of what they did was Harlem Heat. It's just they got to do a little bit more. They got to do a little bit more. They got to be a little bit kind of more raw by that time. But man, for Harlem Heat, look, I'm sorry, man. And you called Hulk Hogan the N-word on TV, bro. You
still keep your job,
right, man? Right, like, bro.
Did you see the way sensational Sherry looked? She like, oh damn,
man. I'm sorry, bro. That's just something different right there, man. You ain't gonna never get past that on me, man. And like I said, man, if anything that you think Crime Time could have did, I'm pretty sure Harlem Heat did in some scenario, way, or form, or fashion, in their own way at that, for the times of what that was. Who remember the Headbangers? The Headbangers actually weren't pretty bad. They weren't pretty bad. I wouldn't put them no higher than pretty bad, but they weren't pretty bad.
I won't put them no higher than pretty bad. That is true.
But yeah, man. But no, man, that's the first set of tag teams that we are going to go through. Gave you guys about a good 45 minutes on this today. To sit here and talk a little something different, reminisce, talk some shit, But man, we're not done with the tag teams just yet, man. We're gonna have to do one more of these. Uh,
Shit, we can do a few more. I mean, one more next week. You know,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, we gonna do more tag teams, but you know, we wanted to, you know,
I
we've been
like this. I like this. It was a nice little. I like it. I was like, how this gonna go compared to the solo? I like this because now you got to think about more than just one person.
right, and so now, Tammy's name will get attacked. No, yeah. Well, if it ain't already happened,
Yeah,
uh,
but goddamn Joe.
man, for real. But no, man, we're not done with the tag team. The next show will be another tag. We'll do another set of tag teams. I think this time, man, we may let's do 5. We'll pick 2 for ourselves, and then we'll agree on one extra team.
That's
Yeah,
fair. You know what? You know what? How about this? We do 2 for ourselves and agree on a team that the fans voted. Well, the people. We ain't gonna call you fans. The people.
People let the people, but man, these people fickle. All right.
This is what we do.
All right.
This is what we
I'm
do.
going on
This is
my
what we do.
Brian. I'm going on my Brian Danielson rant, man. These people are fickle.
No,
All right.
this is what me and you
say
do.
something stupid, and then Earl gonna give us a legit team, and Clive gonna give us a team, then William gonna say something, and it's
This is how we gonna handle that. This is how we gonna handle that. You and I, we will agree on 3 names.
Actually said something good. I actually like Vocal Coffin Street. But
You and I will agree on 3 names. We'll present the 3 names to the people and let the people choose out of the 3 names.
Okay. All right. During the show, we'll
during
do
the show.
So by the time we get to the end, they'll be the last team we'll talk about. So okay. All right. Bet. All right. Bet. All right. Cool. Okay. Cool.
That way we can kind of keep some type of like leash on the situation.
Right, because you know these people get out of hand here, man. You know, we allow too many we allow too much shenanigans on this show. I mean, we ain't really finna put a hole to it right now any damn way, but still. I just want to acknowledge, man, the shenanigans that goes on doing these podcasts with you people.
What they say? What the kids say? All that tomfoolery.
That tomfoolery that be going on. But no, man, we appreciate y'all, man, for hanging out with your boys. Of course, man, tomorrow night, you know, we got that Friday night block party. I think everything is coming on. It's regularly scheduled programming. I don't think there's no TV programming changes. So we should get the normal SmackDown and Rampage block party tomorrow night. We haven't really decided on Collision yet. We'll let y'all know tomorrow night. And then we'll go from there, man, because I believe NXT has deadline coming up December 9th or something like that. It's coming up in a couple of weeks or so. So we got that coming up. And we won't be live and direct from nowhere. We're just gonna hop on here and just hang out and watch some good NXT with y'all. But I don't know where y'all ain't putting restrictions on comments. Hell no, we ain't putting no restrictions on comments, man. We just want to talk shit and let y'all know. That's all. Every now and then, man, we just gotta acknowledge it. And then just go back to doing the shit we were doing. But yeah, man, no, we're gonna go from there on that. But yeah, tomorrow night, you know, most definitely, man, come through, holler at your boys, man. We'll talk that talk. We'll see what happens. We'll see who shows up tomorrow night. Is it gonna be Punk? Is it gonna be Randy?
Randy is scheduled for tomorrow.
Yeah, Randy is scheduled. Will the tribal chief decide he wants to come back? You know, we'll see, man. We'll see. Yeah, man. Other than that, man, we appreciate y'all for today, man. This was fun as always, man. It's always fun. This was definitely fun.
Man, super fun. Hey, and I feel like we did, bro. I'm looking at it right now. Paul London, Brian Kendrick, The New Day, FTR.
I mean, we Harlem Heat, the first show.
You know, I feel like we got some solid ones in for episode 1. I feel like we did solid.
Right. No, I got you. No, we did do solid, and I'm good with it. But yeah, no, man, we definitely gonna shake it up. You know, we got to give a little bit of some wild cards in there. You know, you definitely threw one. You definitely threw one with.
Oh, I had to.
You definitely threw one in there with that one. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, oh, when you said that, I was like, wow, how do I feel about them? Like, you made me really have to think about them, man. Like, damn,
that's why I did that, because I'm like, it would have been a safe bet to get somebody super obvious. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, man, let me really dig that. Like, who do I remember that I ain't got a lot of memories of? But it's like I remember enough. Like, all right, let me go back and watch some of this. Okay, bet. Brian Kendrick, Paul London. That was an error, bro. Shannon Moore and all that crazy. Man, That's all different. That's velocity.
Yeah, Shannon, you. Oh, I don't like
Yeah.
you. I don't like
Hey,
you.
hey, don't get me started on the Bastions. I'll put them on there.
No, I don't like you. The Bash was actually pretty cool, man. You
Yeah,
know, even though
bro.
they
I
were
put the
dope.
whole goddamn cabinet on it.
Not the cabinet. Okay, I'm done with you. I'm done.
See. Hey, I'm going in my bag. I'm going in my
Not
bag.
the cabinet. I'm done with you, man. I'm done, bro.
Orlando Jordan before he became Gold Dust in TNA, but that's a
British
whole
Bulldogs were legit. Yeah, British Bulldogs. Oh yeah, no, hey man, look, give us some names. No, there's a lot of teams that were legit. Like I said, this the first episode of the tag teams, you know, so we just wanted to get a few names out there, but you best believe the next show, oh yeah, we're gonna come with some names, man. We gonna make some people go back in the Rolodex.
Oh yeah. All right, well, look, man, ladies and gentlemen, we gave y'all 50 plus. Thank you again for tuning in. Tomorrow, we got the Friday night block party. Like my man said, Saturday, you know what I'm saying? We're going to see what's popping. Sunday, we'll see what's popping. But one thing for sure, two things for certain. Thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of GOW. I'm the franchise. He's the king, and we got some parting words from our friend.
You are listening to the GOW podcast because, you know, we always like to do it with a little hardcore country.
Bye-bye, bitch.